if there was someone to blame or something to get angry at least that would be, you could get angry at it. But
I blame
it's just disappointing.
I blame the CrossFitters. Oh, of course you do. When in doubt, blame a CrossFitter.
I can hold the 20 comfortably. The 25, I can't even get I can't pick it up. Physically can't pick it up.
You know.
My hands just not big enough.
Excuses, not reasons. But
It's important to build morale in the gym and build rapport with other clients. And right now, just because you're the only other point of reference, the way that I do that is by shit talking you to the other clients.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
They seem to really enjoy it. And so, yeah.
Adrian Kevin doesn't work. First of all, welcome back everybody for the Nev and Adrian podcast part 2. We still don't have a name. We had 2 comments left. They were by one from each of my parents. and while they were good,
that. What did they say?
One was Coach Conversations. That was from Dad. Yeah. And then Mum's was the TSI Community Group or Family Chat. I thought that's great, but they're both a little long. And we want to keep it a bit more snappy. So everyone keep thinking on it. For right now, it's still the Nev and Adrian podcast. And basically, we can't use the brain trust because that's already been taken a look. Yeah. It's like, dang. Yeah, and we can't use the bro trust because Mum was like, I feel excluded. So I was like, all right, that's fair enough. So we're still looking for names, guys. We're open to it. What an interesting start of the week it's been so far.
Yeah, it really has. The world has gone a little crazy.
And we didn't even want to talk about it, but we are. Beer virus. It's a thing.
I really wanted to start off this podcast going, this week, we're going to talk about the coronavirus and then just not say a single thing about it.
Right. That would be ideal. But unfortunately...
Everyone knows what's going on. I guess what we could talk about is how we specifically are being affected by it and what we're doing and all that sort of stuff. Just for the...
Without harping on it too much.
Yeah.
Basically, we're a small business. We want to keep the doors open. We want all of our members to stay fit and healthy. Mm-hmm. And we know that if we get closed down or someone gets sick and people can't come for weeks, it's a big mess for everyone. Not just us, but for people that are training. But on a positive note, I smell fantastic from all the cleaning products. So I guess we could just talk about how we're cleaning the gym first up so everyone's mind's at ease. Yeah. And maybe for other small businesses out there to do something similar because obviously we want people to keep coming, to keep training, and to keep improving. But basically we have hand sanitizer for everyone before and after they train when they come in. We also are using antibacterial spray and cleaning all of the weights, all of the benches, everything that you sit down on, all of the soft handles like on the air bikes, the ski ergs, the chin-up bars. We are mopping, vacuuming, and cleaning mirrors and windows and bathrooms daily. We are cleaning the hand towels daily. We are using methylated spirits on all of the barbells, dumbbells, kettlebells, all the hard surfaces. So everything in here is clean.
Yeah, twice daily.
Twice daily for all those other ones. After morning shift and after night shift. Yeah. So it's pretty clean.
Taking all the precautionary measures that we need to.
Yeah, and like I was telling you before, I have had to fight 3 people to the death to bring the hand sanitizer from the shops to here. But I won because I work out and I do squats. And so if you're in those crazy shopping scenarios, I hope you've been doing your squats.
Yeah, it's really the only thing that's going to keep you from being able to... I mean, so I'm not sure why people are so hell-bent on toilet paper. That's a little insane. Out of everything that's happened so far, that's the thing that I'm starting to think is the most crazy.
It's a little crazy.
There was canned food left over. There were so many things left over that you would take in case of being locked away for a while. But toilet paper? Why?
I'm not sure, but...
So confused.
I'm going to say this, on and off the record, I do have under lock and key, in an undisclosed location, enough toilet paper to last the gym at least 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah. That's
all right.
You see people like in the Hurricane Katrina, they had all those news stories where people are raiding shopping centers and they're taking bread and food. And why are people taking toilet paper?
I'm not sure.
I would really like to know. If anyone knows specifically the reason why just toilet paper is the most in-demand thing, please comment.
And hand sanitizer. It was hard to find.
Well, hand sanitizer, that's understandable, right?
Yeah.
Because germs, but...
Right.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Have a shower, people.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's enough on the coronavirus. I think.
Enough on the coronavirus. I guess
get into that.
the worst side effect, I mean, it's always good habits to be cleaning anyway. It's always a good habit. So I'm not angry about that. I'm not put out by the fact that we have to go and get extra cleaning supplies. I think the main thing that I'm disappointed about now is that I've got 3 clients and members here who have been shafted by this virus and things getting shut down. I have 2 junior athletics girls, one under 13s, one under 15s, and they were going to be going to nationals, and that's been cancelled for them. And that's devastating because it's one thing, I think, when you are in open level sport and, you know, you've had all your fun growing up and you know this is what you want to do and you're focusing on it. But these girls, they're in school. They're in, 8th grade, 10th grade-ish, and they're dedicated to being the best athletes they can be, and they train in the gym, they train on the track, they're training all the time. And for their event to get cancelled is really disappointing because I've been posting some videos of them and they're little savages. They're strong and they're explosive and they've been working non-stop and it's been cancelled, which is
do as well.
Yeah.
They work harder than I think most people just in general even understand.
The work ethic is impressive to say the least. Yeah. Very, very impressive. And for people of that age who could easily just be off playing games, hanging out with friends, going to the beach, except they're in the gym at the athletics track, is really disappointed that they don't get their nationals this year. And then Megan, my other athlete, she was going to be traveling over to the Arnold Classic Australia for the Australian Strongest Woman competition. And that was cancelled. And then that was a whirlwind too because it was cancelled. The event was cancelled, but then I guess the smaller events within the Arnold Classic, like Strongman and Powers, they were going to maybe try to sort out their own thing. And so they had relocated it 90 minutes out of the city, and so then she rented a car, and then we just got news this morning that that's been cancelled as well. And I'm sure it's for a few reasons. They probably struggled to get last minute insurance on it and to organise portaloos for a couple hundred people. So that's been cancelled. And again, the amount of commitment that she's had over the last 6 months has been second to none. She's she did her first novice comp a little under a year ago, qualified for states, took her to states where she came equal first, and then ended up coming second on a tiebreaker event, and then so that was the state qualifier. I apologize. That was the state qualifier. That qualified her 4 states, which she then went to and dominated the girl that just pipped her at the post at the qualifier. She smoked her at the state level. Qualified for the under 82 women at Australia's Strongest Woman. Decided she wanted to be the biggest threat possible, cut her weight class down to 73, and that was tough because she was a good size 82 kilo competitor, and so her diet has been perfect. Her water consumption and salt consumption has been perfect. Her training has been perfect, and a couple of days before the event, the pin gets pulled.
I think the worst part of all of this is that it's no one's fault. You know, like there's no one to blame. There's no thing. It's just a series of unfortunate events. There's no thing that you can pinpoint it on. It's just one of those acts of God that no one could have foreseen coming. You can't plan for it. It just, unfortunately, it just is.
It just
sucks. If there was someone to blame or something to get angry at least that would be, you could get angry at it.
I blame
just disappointing.
I blame the CrossFitters.
Oh, of course you do.
When in doubt, blame a CrossFitter. No, I hope I didn't alienate any one of our now 53 subscribers. Up from last week. Oh, yes.
So how many is that up from last week?
I believe the channel's at 53 subscribers, and then 48 about a week or so ago, and then I had a couple subscribe between then the last podcast, up another 2 or 3 since the last podcast.
All right, so if we go 2 or 3, let's say minimum, right? 2 every week, and we do a podcast every single week.
Sis, you animal.
That's 100 people. Then if we keep doing that, it'll be like roughly 100 years before we can monetize the YouTube channel.
We got this under control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's enough of the coronavirus. It's causing me much frustration. Mm-hmm. So moving on to lighter things. What's new with you, Adrian?
Well, I guess the newest, most exciting thing is I'm running the gym for the next week, taking over your clients for a little while and just running things while you're gone.
That's it. So I was going to be traveling over to Melbourne for the Strongman event. That has been cancelled, as we've just talked about. but I'm still going over for a 4-day holiday. First holiday I've had in quite
I
some
was
time.
going to say, when was the last time you had a
I
holiday?
got away
Since
for-
working at your, the gym, the garage gym, to then opening this place up. When was the last time that
So-
you weren't doing PT?
Since 2014, when I came back and started at the home gym, since 2014, I had 0 holidays where I left the city. So not even overseas, but I never went down south or anything. Up until...
To 2014.
So in 2014, 2019, and then last year, in April, I went to Bali for 4 days for one of my best friend's weddings. And then I also went down south for a couple of days for a wedding in December. And so this would be, the first time traveling. I did travel before, like to New Zealand and to over east for powerlifting meets, but it wasn't a holiday. I was there for 2 or 3 days before the meet came back home.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to Melbourne. I'm going to have a good time. And it'll be my first little getaway for a while. Yeah.
Holiday.
So it's a little bit nervous for me because I know I'm leaving my baby in your very capable hands. But Adrian knows how to handle it all. We've gone through everything, and he's going to smash it while I'm gone, I'm sure.
Well, we've been working together for long enough that I'm not going to steal your shit.
I also have cameras. I will be checking it regularly.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about that. There's a whole bunch of new people that I haven't met before as well, though. There's some people there that I haven't met in person.
There's a couple of people that you haven't met in person, but we're going over all the programming.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see how it all goes.
It'll be
and also just have the gym to myself. There's those things that I don't say or do when you're around.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm worried now.
No, it's fine. It's mainly just it's important to build morale in the gym and build rapport with other clients. And right now, just because you're the only other point of reference, the way that I do that is by shit talking you to the other clients.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
They seem to really enjoy it, and so they seem to like me as well.
There's a lot to be said for building kinship and camaraderie through slightly aggressive banter.
Yeah, slightly aggressive banter. That's a good way of putting it.
Right. Well, before I was not really meaning to talk about handing over the keys to you for the rest of the week and up until next week, but we had a chat about before. You are stepping back from your rock climbing after taking that to a reasonably high level, and you're starting to switch up your training a little bit.
I'd say reasonably high level is maybe overreaching just a little bit. Yeah, taking it to a level much higher than I was when I first started. But I've had a couple of injuries over the last month, neck and shoulders and things like that, and so it's made me stop climbing a little bit. And since I stopped doing that more regularly, I've just I really miss some of the other stuff that I was doing in the past, mainly tricking with a couple of the trickers around Perth who are much, much, much better than I am. I've gotten in contact with them and started training with them again. And I'm going to start to pick up breakdancing. I usually do a new skill every year. I like to tell myself that I'm going to learn something new every single year. And so this year, that's what it is. I've got a few skills under my belt now with tricking. Need a lot of improvement, but breakdancing's the big one. So I'm going to go back into more movement-oriented stuff. Climbing was fun for a long while, but I'm going to take a step back, let some things recover, and just learn a whole new skill set, which I'm really excited about.
So this makes perfect sense to me. You're going to step back from the sport where you fall on giant crash mats to sports where you spin around and sometimes land on your neck and head.
Sometimes. They used to have it a lot more at the beginning. Not so much anymore. Well, everything comes with its positives and its negatives. Rock climbing can be dangerous. Bouldering in general can be dangerous. There's no safety equipment or anything like that. But more often than not, it's like everything. There's a couple of rolled ankles, tendon issues, things like that. But I haven't injured myself climbing just yet. Hopefully I don't. Tricking can be pretty hard on your body, but the style of training that I have, I'm much more conditioned than a lot of the other trickers are. They're much better trickers than I am, but in general, just to be able to handle what the sport is, I'm relatively well put together for it.
Right.
There's a certain level of flexibility and strength that
that
a lot of people don't have.
Let me ask you, how does that affect your training in the gym? I mean, when you're looking at breakdancers, it's a huge amount of upper body strength, right? Not much leg strength, really. Tricking, on the other hand, where they're jumping and flipping, is a lot more leg strength?
Well, it depends. It depends. There's a lot of very unusual moves in breakdancing. There's a lot of steps, there's lots of sweeps, you actually need to be quite flexible to be able to do air flares and things like that. There's a lot of style in breakdancing, so you see there's a lot of just different things moving around on the ground. Some of the stuff that they do, there's a lot of toe moves where they spin their entire body on one toe, and there's really weird compromised positions. It's not really like a gym strength sort of skill set. It's a very specific to that skill set. It's unlike really anything else that there is. Breakdancing is really, really unique like that. Really, really compromising positions that the people who do it are really strong in. Whereas tricking, it's almost an entirely different skill set. Again, there's not much that translates to it. It's very, very explosive, but you need a lot of hip flexibility. There's really high kicks. There's lots of explosive twists and spins and things like that. You need a lot more strength than I think a lot of... It's mainly dominated by, I'd say, like younger-ish people. You don't really see any well, I should say, see any like 30-plus-year-old people going, I want to learn tricking now.
I want to learn tricking, yeah.
It's something that kids or younger people tend to gravitate towards, but because of that, they do the skill, they like the skill, and so they do the skill. And there's not many people that I know who do tricking who actually do strength and conditioning work. Actually, that's to be said about most other disciplines. Strength and conditioning is something that a lot of people leave out. It's the thing that, and like you were saying before, how does my training in the gym affect the other things that I do? Well, I use it specifically as a tool to make me more conditioned or more work better, basically, at keeping my body together, producing more power, having strength in compromised positions, so that when I go to those skills, I can do them and do them well. I can do them without injuring myself. I can do them jump a bit higher or turn a bit faster. Or I really use it as a tool to improve the other skill sets that I train in.
Sure.
It's something that you don't really see very often. People really put in work and they train hard. And like I was saying, there's a lot of people who are a lot better than I am. But the ones who seem to really excel tend to do other strength and conditioning things alongside.
It never hurts to be strong. As long as it doesn't compromise your mobility for what you're trying to achieve, strength is never a weakness.
Exactly. Yeah. It's pretty much
Don't
that.
sue me, Mark Bell. I'm pretty sure he says that. Strength is never a weakness.
Who?
Mark Bell, supertraining.com.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, right.
Could you explain that? Who is Mark Bell? What is
Mark Bell. Mark Bell is a powerlifter. He's the creator of the slingshot, the bench press tool.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. A big advocate of the carnivore diet, which we'll be doing with old mate Jared next week once I'm back. Talking about that.
I'm excited about that one.
Me too. That'll be good.
Yeah.
So in terms of your training out in the gym, what am I going to see different? I mean, when you were rock climbing, you're doing a lot of hang work, scapular pull-ups, grip work. You're still keeping very flexible, a lot of mobility work. So you're doing Jefferson curls and the splits training. I imagine that would all be still pretty similar for tricking, maybe not as much grip stuff, or...
Well, all of that stuff in general, all the hanging grip and activation work is just really good in general for your shoulder health. It's something that a lot of people overlook, and you get neck injuries, you get all sorts of back problems and things, and hanging in general, and all of those exercises are just great. Just cause, like, to do them anyway. They help a lot with climbing, yeah, but I'm going to still do that stuff. Really, the only thing that's going to change is I'm going to lean a little more heavily into splits training. So I've split my program up over 4 days instead of the 2 to 3 days I was doing before, where I can focus less, so have one main lift a day, and then the back end of my session is going to be solely dedicated to splits training.
Yeah,
so splits 4 times a week instead of the 2 times a week that I was doing. Lots of kicks and spins, and the more flexible you can be through your hips, the better it is.
This is why you brought those kick pads in.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, it is. I like them. They're very fun.
I'm going to be holding kick mitts now, aren't I?
yes, you
awesome.
are.
Right.
Yeah, just trying to slightly alter the things that I do for the skill set that I'm training for at the time. It's nothing really that different. I'm just leaning a little more heavily into certain moves that I was doing. So with my last program, it was really a lot more upper body press work, doing a lot of handstand push-ups to complement and balance out my climbing. Now it's just going to lean a little more into the lower body stuff, so a lot more flex work, a lot more flex under tension, trying to get strong in the splits so that I can do some just cooler stuff. It really is just limiting. The less that you can move, the more chance you have for an injury, or you just can't physically produce a certain movement. You're limited enough that you can't do a trick. So the more flexible and the more strong I am in the flexible positions, the more stuff I can do.
Fair enough.
In theory, the hard part is actually being good enough to do them. So yeah, we'll see.
Nice. Well, I mean, a little part of me thinks that the reason why you're changing over from climbing to now tricking and breakdancing isn't so much these injuries that you've experienced, but it's the fact that let's get a little bit of background
with the grip thing, right?
A little bit of background into the gym here, guys. We like to keep things fun for our members and clients. So every month we have a new challenge, and sometimes it's a strength challenge, sometimes it's like an endurance or a fitness challenge. Yeah. And then Adrian was like, I want to come up with one. I'm like, sure, man. You know, new trainer to the gym, you come up with the March challenge. And he came up with this grip strength challenge. You know, coincidentally, he just got good grip strength because, of his rock climbing. And basically we have to just stand up and pinch a bumper plate, and the heavier they are, the 25 is a really fat, chunky, concrete
it's like 10,
bumper.
15. I can hold the 20 comfortably. The 25, I can't even get I can't pick it up. Physically can't pick it up.
You know,
my hand's just not big enough.
Excuses, not reasons. But, you know, I just want to say you're not leading the leaderboard on your own challenge, and I think maybe a little bit of emasculation, and now we're changing sports.
Look, I don't want to say that, because I did say, and I remember saying this as well, I did say I'm going to beat you on the 20 kilo weight plate
but
challenge.
I mean, even Megan, the 73 kilo strong woman, beats you by 3 seconds in the 20 kilo.
Okay, hold on. First of all, my title is Adrian. Her title is
WA strongest woman.
Yeah, that's a pretty impressive title.
It is.
Anyways, props to Megan, that's awesome. But still, I actually had to back way off. Like, these injuries is a good reason for me to step back and be like, whoa, I can no longer say that let's revise, I will not beat you at the 20 kilo weight plate challenge. I'm just going to lean really heavily into that injury, you know, the whole, I used to be an adventurer before I took an arrow to the knee thing, you know, that like, I used to be able to do it, and then I hurt my back, and I used to be able to beat you, but now just these injuries, who knows?
This sounds like my reasons for not hitting the 300 deadlifts.
I could have beat you, but time will tell. Maybe one day when the injuries are healed, I can get back into it. But I mean, at this point, I guess we could just say it's like Schrodinger's challenge. I did both beat you and not beat you, so we'll never know.
Pretty sure we know, but we'll pay that. We'll pay that for sure.
Yeah, well, I did have to back off quite a bit. I was having a few tendon problems, and the grip things were affecting me quite a bit. So, unfortunately, I got to back off a little bit. But that actually, the challenges will change, right? Are we gonna go month by month? You pick one, I pick one. Is that how we're gonna go?
Yeah, generally we can do that, and sometimes I'll just chuck it out to the client, to the members. Hey guys, is there any challenge you want to do? But that's kind of hard because you get like the real fit, smaller people. They're like, let's do this hardcore conditioning. I'm like, only 2 people are going to want to do that.
Exactly.
And I want to get like user participation.
So I don't want to pick a challenge that just I could beat everyone at all the time. Like the grip strength one was going to be a good one. That was going to be.
To be fair, a lot of people did it. So it's good, and we still got half the month left, just about.
Exactly.
So you can practice while I'm away. You're not allowed to do it while I'm away. Officially, I need to be there to witness. Right. Okay.
My arms hurt, but it'll be fun to actually for any of the clients, members listening at the moment, if you have an idea for a challenge, chuck it in the comments.
Even if you're not a client or member, but you're one of our 53 subscribers. Or if you're just listening.
Or if you're just listening, even if you're not a subscriber, like and subscribe, first of all.
Bench press that subscribe button and leave a comment on what the next challenge should be.
Yeah.
Nice.
Even if it's just something that you want to see us doing, something fun. Might not be a monthly challenge, but it could feature on the Strength Institute Instagram. Just something fun. Something fun that you are maybe really good at that you think other people struggle with. Who knows? Maybe you've got a niche skill, something like dance. I don't know, something cool, funky. Just chuck it to us. See if we can do it.
The Strength Institute's not ready for my dance challenge. No one's ready for that yet.
Do you have a dance challenge?
No. No one's ready to see me dance. I'm just saying that can't be a thing just yet.
So far, the only dancing exposure to you that I've had is the dirty dancing that we do. That move. That's
it's
the
a
only
good
dancing
move.
I've seen. Yeah.
Splice that in right now.
But we're gonna do the dirt.
Yeah, we're gonna film this, and we'll do the dirty dancing lift. It's pretty impressive.
Because we've actually already got it on film, right? From way back. Do you remember when we were doing the dynamic stuff?
We can just cut another one in. But we'll do it.
Yeah. Okay, dirty dancing.
Yeah.
Cool. Actually, okay, there's a challenge. Let's challenge already existing or potentially existing clients. If you can replicate this challenge,
We do not need that lawsuit of broken wrists and necks on our hands. Do not attempt any of these things at home.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another reason why you should be strong. Train at the Strength Institute, because then you can be and live out your Patrick Swayze fantasies as much as you want.
As much as you want.
Yeah.
Absolutely. On a little bit of a side note, we're getting some extra production value in here. You know,
That's
there's
nice.
some plants going on.
If anyone's noticed from last week to this week, the new table. Was this
The
in last
table
week?
was here, but you
Table
couldn't
was
really
last
see it from the camera setup because we still had the room was too crowded.
Table.
We got the plants are new. The sign's been ordered, guys. That's going to be here in the next 2 weeks, hopefully. The Strength Institute podcast sign. I'm pretty excited about that. And what a steal! These pots here, which fit perfectly, $12 from Kmart. Not bad.
Kmart's
Kmart's stepping up in the world.
People talk a lot of crap about Kmart, but lately Kmart has really upped its game.
Kmart is strong.
I love Kmart. It's amazing.
It's a strong
Actually,
retailer.
one thing I do want to talk about. You did make those yourself, right?
What are we pointing at?
The things. Let me just.
Oh, the gecko glasses. Yeah.
That's something that I don't think a lot of people know about you either, right? Is that? Yeah.
Introduction part 2.
Nevin, the man of many skills. Something that a lot of people don't know about you is that you don't own the studio. Your mum owns the studio.
Yeah, my mum owns a company called BeachGecko Glass, and she's a glass artist. And when I finished school, in between jobs and in between uni degrees, I would go in there and help her. So I also am a glass artist. These are just really small things. You're not going to be able to see those from way back there.
How close should I be able to hold them up? It's like,
we can try.
Whoa,
Yeah.
like that.
Basically, BeachGecko Glass. These are called Gecko Lux. They're just little geckos stamped into different colored glass. So this is a really simple thing. It's just little souvenirs. But we do everything from big vases, bowls, decanters, wine decanters, unspillable wine decanters. So the more you drink, doesn't matter. Just keep spinning around, doesn't spill. And all sorts of stuff like that. And she's in a bunch of different galleries around WA and Australia, which is it's a bit of fun and a bit different.
And what about you yourself? You yourself are at certain. So I don't really know much about the glass blowing. Like, do you have to get a qualification to be able to do a thing?
No, it's not a recognized trade. I mean, it's such a broad thing. Glass, hot glass. I mean, you can do mold blowing, hand formed stuff. You can do solid glass. You can do blown glass. You can do fusing and slumping, which is just done in kilns with pre-colored sheet glass. There's so many different types of glass work, and people generally will specialize. So there's not really a formal, apprenticeship that you would take. It's just basically you got to fall in luck and find a good teacher who teaches you how to do it, and then have a good business plan that you can start actually making it, turn it from a hobby into a business. So, but Mum's been doing it for a long time now, and she runs all sorts of workshops from bead making, glass blowing, fusing, slumping. So again, if you're in the Perth area, there you go. If this is free, I should charge her for advertising for it. If you're in the Perth area, Google BeachGeckoGlass.com. It's a fantastic website, and she runs all sorts of workshops. So get involved.
Prime product placement.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying,
how long
you can
have you
come to
been
the
doing
Strength Institute. You can do heavy squats. You can go over the road. It's 150 meters away from the Strength Institute, guys.
It's really close, yeah.
Learn how to blow glass. Come back here, have a cool down, and drink some wine out of a wine decanter that I make and sell to you.
Small disclaimer: please drink responsibly.
No alcohol on the premises here at the Strength Institute.
So how long have you been glass blowing for? And what sort of stuff can you make?
So I've been glass blowing since 2000, and the studio opened up in 2006. So that's when I first would have started glass blowing. Right out of school, I finished in 05. 06 I would have glass blown. I had done fusing and slumping kiln work before then for my year 12 TE art projects and stuff like that. But glass blowing since 2006. So it's been a hot minute. And when I first started, I was sort of just the assistant. Basically when you're dealing with molten glass at 1,1200 degrees, it's really hot. So the bigger you make things, the more heat's radiating out of them. So assistant's job is to make sure the blocks are wet and the paper is wet to shape everything, and that you shield the person, the gaffer who's actually making you, shield their forearms, and you're running around doing stuff like that, setting up the glass powders and the colored glass, doing smaller jobs. And then as I've progressed in skill level with that, on the bigger pieces, I'll take the gaffer seat. So I'll do the main blowing and shaping, and especially you got to imagine if you have a hunk of glass this big on an end of a 5-foot pipe, it's quite heavy.
Yeah.
So all the gym work helps with that. And Mum, she does all the smaller stuff. She does solo. Most people would use 2 people. She can do the smaller stuff solo over paperweights and small tumblers. The bigger things, we work as a team, and I'll take the seat on the gaffer side of making it, and she does a bit of the assistant. But she is the overall artistic designer and creator. So her vision needs to come to life with the pair of us. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's really interesting.
It's pretty fun. Yeah, it's pretty fun. A few of my clients have gone across and had a look, and they all have enjoyed it thoroughly.
Cool. Yeah, so I don't know much about it. But you know, when you see something that you don't know much about artistically, of course, you look at it and it's appealing to look at. So you look at a thing, you're like, what the hell is that? Some of the stuff that you've made, I look at and I'm like, oh, that looks like the thing it's supposed to look like. That looks kind of nice. I like that. You know, like it's a good, I think, indicator for someone who has no idea what they're looking at.
So art is, well, first of all, you touched on 2 things. One is that glass is a really cool visual medium because it's so cool to look at. And especially with transparent glasses, you're looking through and colors are blending, and I think that you can make some really, really interesting effects. The other thing is when it comes to art, it's very subjective, I guess.
Subjective.
People like different things. And so I'm not a huge fan of really abstract stuff. I like things to more or less look like how they're meant to look, which is good and bad. It's good because people know what they're looking at, and if I do it well, it looks nice. The bad is, because everyone knows what it's meant to look like, if I make a mistake, everyone knows I've made a mistake on it. So sometimes if I make a big mistake, this is now abstract art and we'll double the price.
So is there any difference between, say, so some of the stuff that you make, like if you make a vase versus, I've seen some really cool stuff on YouTube where people are like doing little things to make all sorts of shapes, like a dragon, for example, and they make like the scales come off and it sets immediately. Is there a difference in the style, the way, the glass that you use? Is there, well, I guess a studio, the way you would make a vase is obviously different to the way that you would just freehand something.
Absolutely.
How does that change?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of different types of glass blowing. I mean, a lot of very small, intricate things. Torch made on a torch, it's like a big Bunsen burner that shoots out a heap of flame, but it's not like you're not in an actual furnace with your glass heating it up. And so a lot of torch work is small and intricate. And then there's borosilicate, which is actually what a lot of like pipe and bong makers would use, because it's tempered, so it's not going to crack when it gets hot.
Okay.
And that also is done mainly on torch work. But then you have a glass blowing, and in our case it's just silica glass. That's not tempered, so basically, you can't chuck it, one of our dishes into the dishwasher or the microwave because it probably will crack.
Yeah.
So they are all functional art. Like you can use them, you just got to hand wash them in normal water. So that's the main difference in terms of the type of glass that we would use versus some of the smaller lamp work or torch work stuff. But with the glass blowing, you can still be really intricate, and a lot of times, so there's something called a hot box. It's kind of hard to imagine, but basically it's just a box that is hot, and it's hot enough that you can put glass in it, and it's not going to crack or explode. Because if I have a big chunk of molten glass and I just let it cool down, it will go through thermal shock and explode or crack, and it's ruined. So when we make a big vase, we have to put it into a kiln, and it takes like 24 hours to slowly come back down to room temperature. So what you can do is, with all these little inclusion pieces, is that you would have your vase, but someone else might have been making 50 really small butterflies and put them all in the hot box, and then what will happen is we'll get those little individual pieces and you can stick them onto the vase, and then the whole thing cools down in the kiln at the end, in the layer at the end. So you can do really intricate stuff with glass blowing too. It just depends on how many people you have and your resources, because when it's 1 or 2 people, generally it's a lot harder. There's a lot more stuff going on when you're trying to do lots of little things. So, but it really depends on what you're trying to make.
Yes, that's interesting. That's really cool. We should definitely charge your mum for the advertising.
Yeah,
I think that we should.
Nothing's free in this world, Mum. No, we'll give her a free shout out today.
All right, cool. So I guess what else should we touch on today? What else should we finish?
I think that's it. I had my little rant about how disappointed I am that my athletes have suffered because of virus.
That does suck.
We talked about your training. We talked about a bit of glass blowing. impromptu glass blowing chat. And I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, that's it. All right, cool. So, main takeaways. If you're just listening for the first time, or if you are a repeat offender, a name. We still need a name for the podcast.
We need a name. Also, hit that subscribe button. Like, share,
definitely.
comment.
Like, share, and comment.
Help us grow this channel.
And then you'll hear lots of really interesting things about glass blowing,
Everything.
about telephone poles, about all sorts of things.
Hanging on to plates for your dear life, just grip it.
Yeah, and hopefully not hearing anything else about the coronavirus.
That's right.
Yeah.
Guys, have a good one. Thanks very much, and we'll be back next week.
See you later.
Cheers.